welcome to my new video. Thank you for watching my last video, really appreciate it. So, it's a beautiful day in Sydney, Australia. So I thought I'd talk to you guys on my balcony, watching the sea. Absolutely stunning. So today we're going to be talking about travelling with type 1 diabetes. So this is my experience. This is from start to finish now in Sydney. So guys, about a year ago, myself, my fiance Molly, and my best friend Harley decided that we were going to come to Australia. Something that we'd always wanted to do. And we just took the leap and we booked it all. So I was obviously very nervous with my diabetes, travelling, because it's something I'd never done before. I didn't know what I had to do about insulin, about how I'd get my testers, what I would do if I was ill over here, because it's a totally different country than the UK. Obviously in the UK we have our NHS, which is amazing. So yeah, I was a bit nervous to say the least. So where do I begin? Guess from the start, obviously. So when we decided that we were going to come to Australia, what was the first things that we did? So first of all, we went to a company in England called SCA Travel. Now, obviously I'm not sponsored by them. I wish I was sponsored by them, but I'm not. Hit me up, SCA. But yeah, so we went there and we booked everything. We booked our flights, we booked our accommodation. They were really, really good. And of course you can do this all on your own. It's, you know, I've talked to loads of guys who have been travelling and they've done it all themselves and they've had absolutely no problems. But I guess we were a bit lazy and we just wanted somebody that knew what they were doing to do it for us. Once we got our visa sorted, which didn't take long for Harley and Molly, it was pretty much instantaneously. Basically 2 days later they got their visas, which was amazing, and we knew our trips were going to start. So me, on the other hand, it was a little bit harder. Australia is a really strict country. Obviously getting into it, getting out of it, and you know, import export. So Australia is really worried about bringing sort of disease and that sort of thing into the country. So I had to go and see a doctor, and it wasn't just any doctor, it had to be a private doctor. I had to go to a place in Cardiff, and it was a Bupa medical centre. So I had to pay extra money to see the doctor, which, you know, is annoying. It's a bit of a con, really, if you ask me. I had to pay about £200 to see a doctor. This lady seen me for about 2 minutes, signed a piece of paper, and that was it. I had to go and get a chest X-ray as well. I can't remember. Did I send it back or did she? Anyways, somebody sent them back to the official Australian government or embassy or whoever gets the visas, and I had to wait sort of another week or so to get my confirmation, but I did. It was fine, it came through, and we were all ready for our trip. So the day of the trip came. We headed out to London Heathrow. We flew with Etihad. We stopped off in Abu Dhabi, which was an experience itself. It's a very, very strange airport. Gotta say, didn't really enjoy it. I don't think I would head back there very soon. So if anyone that's watching this is coming to Australia for the first time, maybe try to go to another airport. It's just really crammed and it's a bit smelly, and yeah, they weren't very friendly there. But yeah, I had no problem with my insulin or anything. A good tip for anyone that is travelling with diabetes or any other medical illness, make sure you get a doctor's letter. It does come in handy if they want to look at your insulin. Also, have a prescription it's an up-to-date prescription. It's got everything on there. So our flight in total took about 24 hours. We were delayed multiple times with Etihad. It's just one of those things with flying, but it was a very, very long trip. And something that's really important whilst traveling, and I will show you guys, is this. It's called a Frio pack. It's a really, really good design. It's a pocket that you put your insulin in, either your vials or your pen itself, and it's got little tiny beads inside of it, and when it's reacted with water for 5 minutes, the beads expand and swell, and they keep your insulin like cool, really cool. So these were really important on the long flights. So if you're doing a long flight, get a Frio pack. Thing to talk about, guys, is obviously your long-acting insulin. For diabetics, you'll obviously understand what I'm talking about. For non-diabetics that might be watching me, I'm going to do obviously a video about the long-acting and short-acting insulin. But yeah, it's really important to keep it consistent. So what I did was I set an alarm on my phone for London time. I do my insulin at 9 AM in the morning and 9 PM at night, so I kept it the same whilst I was on the flight. And when you get to Australia, as long as you're keeping it within the the 12 hours, it's absolutely fine. I've had no problems. I guess another little tip, something that I always do when I'm flying, especially on long haul, make sure to take some sweets or something on the airplane with you. I mean, the air hostesses aren't always around. If you're having a hypo on the plane, well, that's just not great, is it? Yeah, so I always take sweets. So if I'm feeling a bit low, pop some sweets, or if you don't want to eat sweets, dextrose tablets, little glucose tablets, really good. Or anything sugary, yeah, because like I said, on the long haul flights, they don't just walk through and offer you to buy sweets and chocolates and things like that. So yeah, don't get caught out, boys and girls. I got to Australia, and it was amazing. Totally just mind blown. We walked outside of the airport, and there's like parrots flying past you. I'm really sorry if you can't hear me very well. The neighbours have decided to do a bit of DIY this morning. Fantastic. So yeah, it was crazy. If anyone's out there that's going to watch my video is sort of thinking, do I want to go to Australia? I mean, it's amazing, and I'm so glad that we decided to do it. So what was the first thing that I did medically? The first thing that I did, and the first thing that I would suggest for any diabetics to do, is to get a Medicard. Where's the bloody thing? So this is my Medicare card, and this is a lifesaver in Australia. So it's relatively easy to do. It takes about an hour to get it all sorted. You have to do a bit of paperwork. You go to a Medicare a brand. Well, I went to one in Melbourne, but they're all over Australia. You go there, you see an administration person, you fill out a form, they take a picture of your passport, and they send it to you about a week or two later. So with this Medicare card, you get money off your insulin over here, and there's also a scheme called NDSS. I believe that lowers the prices for your testers and your needles, all the hardware. Another little tip, which what I've done is, I use little mobile cassettes in my blood tester. I didn't fancy paying for those over here because obviously I'm a backpacker and I don't have money to burn. But Yeah, I got my family to send them over to your address, wherever you're staying. If you're going to stay in a hostel, I mean, we've been staying in sort of house shares, so it's been easy, just to get them sent over. It takes about 2-3 weeks to get a parcel from England to Australia. So yeah, my dad's been just getting some things together and just sending them in packages to me. Obviously, you can't do that with insulin, but insulin's not too expensive. So, how much is insulin over in Australia? Well, you get a pack of 5, and they usually give you 3 packs. So for 3 packs of Levemir and 3 packs of Nova Rapid, they cost me about $65 to $70 with the Medicare card. So sorry, there's a fly. Go away, fly. Sorry about that. Yeah, it cost me about $65 to $70, and that lasted me probably about 3 or so months, maybe more. So I mean, since I've been in Australia, I've bought 2 or 3 lots of insulin. So it's relatively cheap. It's so easy. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you get your prescription from the doctor. Always remember to get a bulk billing doctor if you can. If you've got your Medicard, care card, and it's in the week, you don't have to pay to see the doctor. Now, if you don't get a bulk billing doctor, you have to pay about $70, which is about £30. So it's not too expensive, but I just find it easier to get a bulk billing doctor. Don't have to pay to see them. They give you your prescriptions, and you've just got to go and sort your prescriptions out at the pharmacy. So for me, guys, my diabetes sometimes gets a bit funny when I'm in hot countries, or if it's really warm, I usually go a bit low. For some reason, I don't know. Maybe because I'm sweating more or whatever. I'm not a doctor, but that's one thing that I would say. We came over here in the summer, so some days it was 45 degrees, and for most of the summer it's around about high 30s to 40s. So it's going to take a bit of time to get used to, especially if you're damn flies. Especially if you're working. When I got here, I was doing quite a quite a physical job. So I would say for the start of it, until you get used to it, you will probably have more hypos, or you will run lower than what you would in the UK. So just be mindful of that. So should you be worried about coming to Australia if you're a diabetic, or if you've got any medical condition? Personally, I don't think so. It's an amazing country. The people are really helpful, and I haven't had any problems in the year that I've been here. There's things that you'll find out that I might have missed, or things that you'll experience that I haven't experienced. Luckily, I haven't been ill over here, so I haven't been to the hospital or anything. Excuse me. But I spoke to people that are from the UK that have been ill, and they've had no problems in the hospitals. As long as you have your Medicare cards, yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So one thing that I probably should say to you guys about is when me and Molly came over to Australia, we bought 6 months travel insurance, backpackers travel insurance. We weren't sure how long we were going to be in Australia for, or traveling for, so we only booked the 6 months. Now, for anyone that is thinking of traveling, and that's going to travel to other countries like Asia, for example, I would suggest to get your travel insurance sorted because we have decided that we're going to go to Southeast Asia. We're going to go to Bali. We're going to go to Singapore, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. So one thing that we did find in Australia is that when you are not an Australian resident, when you are leaving Australia and not returning, it's very hard to find travel insurance. So I would suggest to get a whole year, especially if you think that you're going to go to Asia, because I mean, you know, it's going to be more expensive when you're back in the UK. But I mean, it was very hard, especially if you've got a pre-existing medical condition like myself. You know, I've got diabetes, asthma. One of our friends, Ellie, she also has a medical condition, found it hard as well. Luckily we have found somewhere that's insured us, but it was expensive. I mean, I paid nearly £200 for 3 months. So I mean, if you get a good deal in the UK for backpacking, I would definitely say to get it for the year, or get it for however long you're going to be travelling for. That's Cookie's tips. So that's pretty much it, guys. It's only a little video today. Sat on my balcony. Just wanted to give you something to watch, something. If there's people out there that are going to be travelling, or that's thinking about travelling with an illness, I just hope you can watch this and you maybe understand things a little better, or if not, give me a message, drop me a message. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe down below. Just give me a comment if you're a diabetic, if your family's a diabetic, if you're going to be coming travelling, where you're going. Yeah, leave me a comment. Also check me out on Facebook. I love hearing from you guys, and I really appreciate the support that I'm getting. Diabetes is an illness and it is life-threatening, and we need to stick together, and people need to know more about it. That's pretty much that. I am going to go and enjoy this beautiful sun, and I hope to see you again. Bye. Bye. Bye.
It's caught in the crossfire.